Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Tea with Brittany Lee. I am so glad that you're joining me today. I have the distinct privilege of hosting the beautiful and talented Paula from BookingPal today, as you can see on the screen. So as you guys roll in, I just want to kind of say hello, see how everything's going, and let you know that we have something a little bit different that we're going to do today. I think maybe I've done one of these before in my webinars, but I am going to launch a poll for you guys. And Paula, just give me a little shout whenever you're ready for me to launch that poll. But Paula is going to talk to us today about some ways that we can get more eyes on our websites. And when we had a meeting with BookingPal earlier last week, I want to say it was like Tuesday or Wednesday, just to kind of talk about the webinar, see what we were going to be going over. And I was so impressed with the information that they were giving. I got so excited, and I just was really happy and really ready for this webinar. So I've been really amped up for this webinar for a couple days now. So I'm going to go ahead and let Paula introduce herself, and she'll give me a little shout out when it's time for the poll to get launched. And I want all of you to vote. Everybody, put down everything and vote when the poll comes up, because it's more fun when you get more responses. So help me make this feature awesome. So anyway, Paula, thank you so much for being on the webinar today. We're really excited to be working with BookingPal. You've been amazing. So just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and you can go ahead and get started.
Sounds great. And if you want to go ahead and launch the poll now, Brittany, that would be great.
I'm going to do it right this second.
Okay, perfect. And again, I would like to thank everybody at VRM and Brittany, of course, for allowing me to go over our programs with you. Now, this is not just going to be a 45-minute sales pitch, folks, just so you know. We're also going to go over some of the things that you can do to increase both your branding, your bookings, and your revenue, whether you work with BookingPal or not, because I'm here to help you all as much as I can. So that is the good thing, with this. I promise it's not going to be, get this now. That's not how I work. And if you have any questions, please make sure you put them out there. Brittany, I think you'll be able to see questions better than I can, because I have the I have the presentation on my full screen, but any questions, just interrupt me and let me know.
Yes, and usually the way that we do it, you just throw your questions into the Q&A bar down at the bottom of the Zoom window, and I will look at those, and then at the end of the webinar, when Paula's all done, I will go ahead and ask those questions so that she can address them for you. And I just want to say shout out, everybody did the poll, so that's really cool. Thank you all so much for doing the poll. That's really cool. So it seems like with web traffic, Paula, can you see these results? I don't know if you can see them.
No, I can't.
No? Okay. So it looks like we're split 50-50. Some people have under 5,000 views on their website every month, and then the other half have between 5,000 and 50,000 views a month on their website. So thank you guys for
perfect. And that's going to help with some of the things I'm going over. So that's fantastic. So with that being said, let's get going.
Awesome.
Again, my name is Paula Bushy. I'm the market director of the East and Southeast regions. I've been with BookingPal now for almost 4 years. I was one of the original salespeople when we started selling. So, the company has been around now about 6 years, but we actually got everything moving about 4 years ago. So now we're a preferred partner of Airbnb, of Booking.com, of HomeAway, and of Expedia. And we have diversified a lot of things. We started out mainly as a channel manager, and now, and I'll show you a little bit later, all the different things that we can do, but we're pretty much now a channel manager on steroids. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look over everything. So what basically is BookingPal? As I said, we're a fully managed distribution platform that we're here to increase your revenue, your occupancy, and reduce the time you're having to spend doing manual labor if you're using other travel channels out there. We also have a two-way connection with VRM, so it's seamless back and forth, so that once you get a booking, we're going to push it back into VRM, so it blocks off your calendars and you don't need to worry about double bookings. And again, we're here for you. We are solely based on financial performance, so we want to help you make money. So now let's talk a little bit about different websites. As the poll said, half of you said under 5, and the rest of you said between 5 and 50,000 views per month. For an individual website, that's not bad. But when people are starting with searching for a vacation property, the first thing they're doing is they're looking for destination-related terms. So if your website is not called, just using Panama City for example, Panama City Rentals, you may not come up high on the searches. You can see with the different price-related terms, brand or website names, that's only 31% when people are starting to look. So that's what we want to do. We want to work with branding you as you, but also getting you in front of millions of viewers per month. With that being said, just our top 5 channels, just to give you some ideas. Airbnb has 83 million views per month. Booking.com books over 1.5 million room nights per month. Expedia has over 1.9 billion visits per month. That doesn't even include HomeAway that has 25 million. So by y'all just using your websites, you're actually doing a disservice to your properties because you're not getting them seen out there on the major channels. But that's where we can come in and we can help you. So as I was talking about before, we make sure that we brand you out there. And the reason we do that is because of the billboard effect. If they see your name out there on Airbnb, if they see it out there on Expedia, if they see your name out there as much as possible, you're also going to get residual organic bookings from people just searching and seeing you on these different sites, because they'll see it on Expedia, they'll see it on Airbnb, they'll see it on Booking. Then they may just go in and put the name in, and they're going to directly to your website so that people can book straight from there too. So this is what we're talking about, trying to get you in front of 20 million guests each month. We have 80 different sites that we push to, including, like I said, the big 4 are Airbnb, HomeAway, Expedia, and Booking.com. Google is another one that is definitely jumping into the travel space. And it's not just Google AdWords and things like that. It's actually having a booking engine directly on what's called your Google Knowledge Card that allows people to book direct with you. And you can see the other different channels that you see on this, the Orbits, the hotels, Priceline. Those are all affiliates of either Booking.com or Expedia. So with those, that allows your properties to go, like for Expedia alone, they have 43 different channels. So once you go to Expedia, you're going to all the different ones. And you can see right here, here's just some client successes that we've had. We work directly with Vacasa to help them with their bookings. We have them on Expedia, Airbnb, and Booking.com. And then Villa Key is a new website that's coming out. The way we started with Ray and Max, just so you know, is they also own a company called Resort Homes of Florida, located in Orlando. And they found a need in their area for a niche website, which I think is awesome, and that is coming in. That's Villa Key, that we are also the only channel manager that's going to be integrated with them right now. And it is based and it is put together for families of autistic children. So with that, what it's going to do is it's going to make it so that it's a stable environment for the family. And they're also doing different things, like when you put your properties on those sites, they'll request, 1 weekend a month that they can use as a giveaway for autistic families so that they're able to take vacations too. So we're really excited about that partnership. And then Garden Island Properties is another property manager that we work with out of Hawaii, and she's doing very well with us. And to begin with, she was only on Booking just because Hawaii has some obstacles when it comes to getting on Airbnb, but we've been able to help her overcome those, and she's doing well on Airbnb as well. So going back to your website alone and talking about how we can drive more traffic to your websites, this is not only for your website, obviously. We work with our PMs to make sure that we have the best photos possible out there. We have the most amenities out there, because each website gives each individual unit a content score. With that content score, that determines where you fall in the rankings. So there's a lot of people that will put their properties up on, say, Airbnb or Booking, and they just put them up there and they don't try to optimize their properties. When that happens, especially if you're in a high traffic market like, say, Orlando, you might be coming up on page 233 in the rankings, and you know as well as I do how many people are going to go that far to look for a property. So that's why we make sure you work with your photos, taking as many photos as possible of every single room, making sure they're high resolution photos. You can see here the minimum resolution for pictures is 1024 by 768. And a lot of property managers out there think that, oh, well, we need to get a professional photographer to do this. You really don't have to. Your smartphone takes pictures that high res, so that can help save you money just by taking the pictures on your smartphone. And I don't have it on here, but one of the things you want to do also when you're taking photos is walk through each and every unit like you're showing the property for sale. So when you walk in, take a picture of the front of the house. Then you walk in, take a picture of the foyer, and do a tour of the house. That's the way that the OTAs like it, and that's also the way that your guests are going to like it, because the majority of the people, when they're on the different channels and they're looking at different properties, they're not reading all of the description. They spend 75% of their time just looking through your photos. They'll even look through your photos 3, 4, 5 times to see if it's something that they are looking for with your property. So the better pictures you take, the more pictures you have on there, you're giving the guest an experience. Not only that, a lot of the OTAs are now allowing videos to be on the sites. So if that's the case, take a video of your property and put those on there. Again, anything that's going to make your property stand out from all the other ones in your areas is what you want to work with.
That's awesome. I just want to interject one thing. We actually have a webinar that we did. A friend of mine, Meredith Cornett Hart, she is a professional photographer for vacation rental managers, and she came on Tea with Brittany Lee with me last year and gave all of her insights on how to take wonderful vacation rental management photos of your vacation rentals with a basic equipment and all the things that you need and everything. So I will include that in the recap blog for you guys so that you can get to that link. But that's a really great resource. If you need help with your photos, we have something like that for you. So I just want to throw that in there.
Oh, definitely. And I was going to mention that as well. So I'm glad you did, Brittany. And
Awesome.
I watched, she sent me over the video earlier this week, and I watched it, and it is awesome. It's just little tips and tricks that, you can do yourself. You don't necessarily need a professional photographer to do it, especially if her friend's not in your area, obviously, Brittany.
Yep, exactly.
But it's just an easy way, A, for you to save money, but B, get the most out of each and every unit that you have out there and each and every pair of eyes that are looking at your units. Again, with helping you stand out, the other important thing when it comes to the websites is amenities. If you have a washer and dryer, your parking, whether it's free parking, paid parking, or reserved parking, if linens are included. I know a lot of the folks in North Carolina and the Outer Banks area, linens aren't always included. So you want to make sure you put that out there. If it has a community pool or a community hot tub, make sure you mark it as such so that the guest doesn't think that the hot tub is right there on the property. If it's on the property, make sure you mark it. If the house has a pool, make sure you take multiple pictures of the pool and put those out there because, again, with the photos, that's what guests are looking for. And one thing that we can do a little different than a lot of the other channel managers out there, depending on the type of property you have, we can build it either way. A perfect example is, say you have a single family home on Emerald Isle. You're going to want that built as a key level property. If you have a condotel where the majority of the units are pretty much cookie cutter, then we could build that as what we call rep level and make room types on that. And that would come up not only in the vacation rental rankings on places like Expedia and Booking, but it's also going to come up in the hotel sections, so that's going to get you more eyes and, again, more bookings. And with the amenities, again, first and foremost, you want to put everything out there that's going to set your property apart from all the other ones in your area. So what can BookingPal do for you so that we can get you those extra bookings and get you connected to those channels? Again, we have two-way integration with VRM, so you're not going to have to worry about double bookings. Whether the booking is coming from your website or Booking.com or Airbnb, as soon as those bookings come in, they're going to go directly into VRM, so it'll block your calendars on all the other sites. Content syndication, like I said, with the content, we will pull all your information from VRM and then push it out to the various channels. Some channels, like Booking.com, they build your properties for you. Other sites like Airbnb, everything that we push over, that's what gets built. And just as a side note, if you are on any of these channels already and you like the way everything is on those channels, that's fine too. If you want to work with us, then we would do what's called a manual override or a manual switchover, so that everything will just flow back and forth and you won't have to do manual updates. Again, when you update anything, it will be in VRM only. You won't have to go update all the individual channels in order for everything to be uniform across the board. We can also work with promotions. So especially since now we're going into shoulder season, so if you're trying to run some promotions, say, 10% off your midweek rates, if you're not booked right now, we can help you with that, and we can do that. Because with us, not only do you have a dashboard for the individual channels, but you also have a BookingPal dashboard where you can set the promotions there and we push them over. When a booking does come through, not only does it get pushed to VRM, but we also send you a detailed email that includes the guest name, the guest information, the reservation information, everything that you're going to need for that guest, you're going to get in that email. It's also going to show you a breakdown of everything, whether it be your rates, your taxes, your fees. It'll have all that in a breakdown so that you're able to see everything in a nutshell, and you can see, what your guest has paid and what you need to pay to your owners. Everything will come in a consolidated email. You'll be able to see all of your booking history, not only in VRM, but in our dashboard. And again, the biggest thing is that two-way channel connectivity. Since we do go back and forth, everything is seamless. You don't have to worry about updating anything on the channels. Okay, what are our goals for VRM specific? We have the seamless integration with VRM through the vacation grids. We want to simplify and optimize your distribution and get you a higher conversion rate. I'm not going to read these verbatim, by the way, folks. I'm also going to send these over to you. So I will highlight some of the big ones that I think, because the next biggest one to me is branding. We're going to brand you as much as possible. You're going to own all your channel agreements. So that means that we're not going to change anything unless you tell us to. If something happens and you decide not to work with BookingPal anymore, we understand things happen, but we're also not going to hold your properties hostage. We're going to make sure that if you decide to do it direct, then you can just switch them over to direct for you, because again, we're here to help you make money. And now we're into the advertising part a little bit, so I'm sorry. This just explains our different products that we have. Like I said, when we first started, we started pretty much with channel management and the content management. We've gone so much further now. With the payment management, we're able to help you not only with making sure your payments are going back into your system, because with us on the majority of the channels, Airbnb being the exception, you are still able to be merchant of record, which means you're going to collect the funds according to your terms. If you say that you want 50% up front and the balance due 30 days before, that's how you'll collect your funds. So it's a lot better than having to wait until after guest check-in to get any funds back in. And I know, using North Carolina as an example, I know that they don't really allow other sites to be merchant of record for their property managers. The property manager themselves have to be merchant of record. So that's going to help you out a lot as well. With the revenue management, there's a whole section in our dashboard that will help you with that. It can help you with competitive pricing. It can help you with ranking your properties compared to others out there in your area. Again, everything that we can boost your revenue. And last but not least is inquiry management. We've just started this because the majority of the sites the majority of the bookings that you get are going to be instant book. That's how we work, and that's how we work for you to make it easier, so you're not having to go back and forth with a bunch of inquiries that may not amount to anything. But on sites like HomeAway and Airbnb, you're still going to get inquiries. With that being said, we have a program where we can respond to those questions for you within an hour. So especially with Airbnb, that'll help promote you to superhost status by making sure that all the inquiries are answered within that hour. And it'll also help with your booking conversion by 40% because you're getting their questions answered. And more often than not, especially with Airbnb, if you're talking back and forth with them, the guest is going to be more likely to book with you than to go to another page and try to book with someone else. And just a little bit about the channel management. Like I said before, we can get you to the big sites like HomeAway, Booking.com, Expedia, Airbnb, and Google. We also have some what we call B sites that you might not get a ton of bookings from, but it's going to give you that extra exposure and help you with that billboard effect. We have sites like Mr. B&B, we have Villa Key, like I was saying, and we have a lot more coming down the pike as well. Some more A channels that we're working on is Agoda, which is huge over in Asia, and C Trips, which is the largest over in the Orient, over in China, Japan, and those areas. So we're always working to get more channels to be able to promote you to, so that the more that you're out there, again, the more you're going to get back. And this just shows you an easy breakdown of how everything would work when it comes to distributing your properties. You know, it'll go to VRM, push into our system through the vacation bridge, push out to the channels, and then once a booking occurs, it'll go right back through us and into VRM. Now, this is the content and optimization management that we touched on a little bit before. When we first started, as I said, we made sure your content was all correct. Now, not only do we make sure it's correct, but we also make sure it's optimized to its fullest. We won't push any properties out unless we have them as an 80% score in our system, because we have put together an algorithm that takes from every single channel what their hot buttons are when it comes to their content scores. We have those all put together so that we put together what's called a My Optimize page, and that's what you're looking at here on the right. And we'll go through every single one and make sure that we get you that highest score as possible so that you can be as high in the rankings as possible on the different channels. And this just shows you a little bit of what My Optimize looks like. And we can run these reports for every single one of your units. Whether you have 50 units or 5,000 units, we can run these on every single property for you to make sure we have as much information from you as we can to increase this My Optimize score. Okay, payment management. That is a pain point we know with a lot of folks because, again, going back to being whether you can be merchant of record or not. But we have a lot of different options. First of all, obviously, you are the merchant of record on everything except for Airbnb. But with Airbnb, the way we work is we set up our PMs on what we call the super strict 30 policy, which means Airbnb releases your funds 30 days before guest check-in. So you're still getting all of your monies before the guest even gets there. And what's nice about Airbnb is you get the net, which means Airbnb releases the funds to us with their fees taken out. Then we release the funds to you with ours taken out, so you don't have to worry about any invoicing. With the channels where you can be merchant of record, there's two different ways we can do that as well. First of all, is what's called direct invoicing. You would collect the money according to your terms, and the month after guest check-in, you get invoiced by us and by the channel. So that's how you're paying both of us direct. But we have a program called Split Pay where you won't have to worry about invoicing, and we can do it exactly the way Airbnb does. But when they first book, what we'll do is we'll take out the fees from that first booking, or from that first payment, I'm sorry. And then the second payment, you just get it all. So you're still getting all the net according to your terms. And then failed payment support. This is something that's new to us, and it's fantastic because when it comes to working with Booking.com, and this came from them, 43% of bookings that come through Booking.com have an invalid credit card, which if you weren't doing failed payment, you would have to go in to each booking, mark it as invalid, and then you have to wait 36 hours to either get a new card from the guest or cancel the reservation. With the failed payment support, what we do is we check that card before we ever push it over to you to run. So once we do that, if it's a good card, everything's fine, we just send it over to you. If it's an invalid card, then what we do is we contact the guest for you, get a new card, or if we can't get a new card, we have already started the cancellation process. So we can get that out of your system. It's not blocking your calendars anymore. And then with virtual credit card services, this has to do with Expedia. With Expedia, there's 3 different ways you can collect your funds. You can go with Hotel Collect, which means you're the merchant of record, just like, say, Booking.com, and you'll be invoiced the month after guest check-in by us and by Expedia for all of those bookings. Then they have what's called Expedia Collect. With Expedia Collect, they collect the funds, then they send you a virtual credit card for you to run at the time of guest arrival. With the virtual credit card services, we'll do that for you. We'll transfer all the money straight over to your banking account, so you don't have to worry about remembering to have to run that virtual card. You also don't have to worry about how much you're supposed to run on that card because we already know it because it's in the system for you. And here's the fail. I thought I had these two mixed up. I'm sorry, folks. But with the failed payment, like I said, what we do if it fails, we use our customer service team and we chase down the guest for you. Now remember, you're still getting all the guest information, so you're still able to reach out to them. You're getting their phone number, you're getting their address, you're obviously getting their credit card information. So we don't keep that. That goes over to you. I mean, we have it in our system if you need to see it, but we make sure that you are in charge of your guests because we want to get you these bookings one time and one time only, and then you keep the guest for the entire time they're coming to stay in your area. And then revenue management, which I touched on a little bit before. Again, we're able to run OTA ranking reports and get your competitors' analysis reports so that we can help you, first of all, make sure you don't price yourself out of the market, but we also don't want you to be pricing yourself so low that you're not maximizing your revenue. So that's what our revenue managers do. And you have a dedicated account manager with us through the entire life of your working with Booking.com or BookingPal. So with that, they know your area. You know, they're able to help you with keeping your content score high because Booking.com and the other channels, they'll change what they base their content scores on, usually every 2 or 3 months. So we keep up with that to make sure we keep all that information in there for you. So you'll be working hand in hand with your account manager to be able to do so. Then again, with the inquiry management, like we were talking about before, that would be with Airbnb and HomeAway reservations. We have a team of specialists that will handle all the guest communications back and forth for you, so that all you have to worry about is working with the guests once they get to the property. But we can also do that in two different ways. Again, if you want to keep control of your guests, you're able to do that because you're still getting all the guest information. And one of the things on here, you see right here, gain better reviews. If you are using some of the OTAs now, especially Airbnb, if your guest reviews you, make sure you go in and review them back, because that's going to do two things. That more than likely is going to get you that guest for life, because you've taken the time to go in and talk to them, whether it be if they had an issue, you're going in to fix it, or if they gave you a great review, go in and give them a great one as well. The more positive reviews you get on Airbnb, the higher you come up on the rankings there. So it's definitely very important to make sure you get those reviews done in a timely manner. And it doesn't have to be a whole paragraph. It can just be things like, thank you so much for your stay. It was great having you here. Hope to see you again. Now, when it comes to the way we work with you, you have an onboarding team and a property manager that starts out with you as soon as the registration process with us is complete. They're going to walk you through making sure all of your properties have the right information, making sure the content is the way it needs to be for the individual channels. They're also going to train you on the BookingPal dashboard to show you all the things that you can see in there. They're going to bring all your information over from VRM and then get all those properties live for you. Once the project manager is complete, that's when you have your account manager. They're going to help you develop your own revenue strategy and make sure that you hit those as closely as possible, or higher if we can. They're going to help you with setting up promotions. They're going to help you with the revenue management tools. They're going to be side by side with you the entire life of the partnership. Not only that, your sales team will also be here for you with any questions. And we have a support team, so if there is an issue, all you have to do is reach out to your account manager and or the support team, and we'll work on getting whatever issue it is fixed as quickly as we can. So why choose us over other folks out there? Again, we care about you and your brand. That's why you sign your own agreements with all the channels. That means you own all your data, your reviews, your branding. And since it's marketed that way on all channels, smart guests are going to be looking at different channels to find your units. And ultimately, they're going to find your website and book directly through you. And we're not like a HomeAway situation where if someone goes to booking.com and looks at your property, and then someone goes to Airbnb, looks at your property, and ultimately goes to your website and books, we have nothing to do with that booking for you. That's all you. So we don't put a cookie out there like HomeAway can do and try to charge you an extra commission for that. And I'll go through the commission structure here in a minute, but ours are only based on the bookings that we get you from the channels we push you to. And we're not an all or nothing proposition either, so you don't have to do every single channel with us. So if you're doing HomeAway, because I know y'all have a connection through HomeAway, if you're doing HomeAway on your own, obviously we're not going to do anything with those if you want to keep them that way. But if you're not doing Airbnb right now, you're not doing Expedia right now, we can help you push those. Even if you're using a competitor for, say, one site, you can use us for another one, and this way you can do an A/B test to see which one works better for you. Okay, the one thing I did not put in here is pricing, but I can talk to you a little bit about it. I apologize for that. We have three different tiers right now, depending on what you want to do. Our first tier is the Professional Plus program, and that gives you everything. I'm going to go back to the one page. Go back a little bit here. There you go. So this, you're going to get your channel management, obviously. You're also going to get the content and optimization management and the payment management, with the exception of the failed payment support, and that is 4% per booking. Now, the way we do our pricing when it comes to the percentages, we only take that off the rate. We don't take that off your taxes and fees as well. Now, with that 4%, and obviously the channels charge their own depending on which channel that you go to. So we have a program that we call the net rate program. You can tell us how much you want to pay out of pocket, and then we can adjust your rates for you so that the guest pays the extra. Now, we're not going to put it in as an extra fee like HomeAway does or Airbnb does. It will go directly into the rate. So I'll use Booking.com as an example. Booking.com is 15%. And then with our 4%, you're looking at a 19% swing. We know flat out that property managers normally don't make that kind of margin. So we work with you to discern which is the best sweet spot for you. So say the most you can pay out of pocket is 10%. We're going to use a $100 booking as an example. So on that $100 booking, you're always going to net $90 no matter what. So what we'll do is we'll push that over to Booking.com as 109, so that the guest is paying that extra 9%, not you. And then when we push it back to you, we'll have the breakdown of your rent is 100, the upsold rent was 109, so that your owners only have to see that $100, so you're not paying them the commission on the higher amount, you're only paying it on the net. And again, we work individually with each property manager to find what will work best for them, so that A, they're not pricing themselves out of the market, nor are they pricing themselves too low. And that, in a nutshell, is our program. So I'm going to open the floor to all of you. I am pretty excited because I left myself with 2 extra minutes.
Awesome.
So I'm going to open the floor to all of you property managers. I would love any feedback that you have, any questions that you have. Please let me know.
Awesome. Yeah, we already got 4 questions, so I'm going to go ahead and run through those really quick, and we will answer them live. All right, so the first one was, what is the advantage of having a partnership with BookingPal if our company already has a direct integration with HomeAway and or Airbnb? Besides the access to other channels, is it less per booking or subscription?
Okay, with that was when I was talking about the all or nothing proposition. Since you have a direct connection with HomeAway, you don't want to change that, because you're probably paying, depending on if you're doing subscription, you're already paying that set amount. If you're doing pay per booking, where most things are going to now, you're probably paying 5 or 10%. We don't have a special deal with those prices. So those you'd want to keep on your own. Now with Airbnb, it depends on your direct connection. Are you still having to go in and manually do all of the changes? Are you having to go in there and manually update your rates? If you're not, and you're already at a commission level that you like with them, then by all means keep that direct connection. If not, then we can help you by being able to push everything back and forth. And as I said before, we build your properties for you, so you don't have to worry about building them yourself.
Awesome. And the second half of that question that they had was, who handles technical support issues that may arise, BookingPal reps or the individual channel?
That would be, we're always your first line of defense. So if there's a technical issue, you always come to us first, and then we can determine whether it's us or whether it's the channel. And then obviously if it's the channel, we're going to work with you to make sure that we get that fixed. If it's us, we're going to get it fixed even quicker because we're going to get the issue done as quickly as possible. But we'll also help you. I have a property manager down in Florida that is having an issue right now with red tide and wanted to do some, did not have a problem refunding the guest with Airbnb. She was a little unsure of how to do that, so I worked with her to make sure that we were able to refund the guest. So with your account management team, as well as your sales team and the support team, we'll all work with you to help you get all those technical issues done.
Awesome. Okay, so the next question is, are you able to have contact information for the guests prior to booking if they make an email inquiry? Phone number and email address is not hidden.
Exactly. With Airbnb, the phone number is still hidden just because that's what Airbnb does. But as soon as that booking is done, we do get the phone number and all the information for you that we push over to you. With Booking.com and Expedia, you get all of that information up front as soon as the booking occurs as well. Now, on all the different channels, the email address that you get is an encrypted one, just like you probably already get if you're working with Airbnb or one of these other channels on your own. But with the way that their dashboards work and being able to speak to the guests, you do get the phone numbers and you're able to get all that information quickly. We also, again, like I said before, you're also getting their address, and as much information as we can get from the guest, we're going to get for you.
Awesome. All right, so the next one is, are all of your payments sent in as ACH direct deposits as BookingPal transactions, or do they pass through the VRM affiliated gateway EZIC so that the funds are within the reservation when it's made in the system?
They come through the payment gateway. So they will go into each individual listing. Trying to say that all together was not easy. I apologize. But yes, the payments we send over through the payment gateway.
Wonderful. Okay, and my last question is, does the Airbnb unique tax collection process follow through to the BookingPal system?
Yes. That's one of the things, because we were one of the first people where the tax collection was working with. And we've had to do a lot of things on that to get it worked out, because you know as well as I do, it was not an easy process if you've worked with Airbnb.
Yeah.
But we pushed everything over. It has the breakdown of everything, including what Airbnb is paying in the terms of taxes, so you know what you do not have to push over. Let me try something real quick and see if I can pull it up, just so y'all have an idea of what one looks like. I want to try to find an Airbnb one. Okay, I know this is Airbnb. Okay, that is not a good one, because in New York they don't have to do taxes. But what I can show you is I can show you how it'll look when we send it over to you. Okay, I can exit out of here. And y'all can still see my screen, correct?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Airbnb one. Okay, here we go. This one is an Airbnb one so that you can see it. This is the kind of information. Now, is it too small? If it's too small, I can make the screen a little bigger.
It's legible to me. If anybody has issues doing it, just throw it in the chat. And
Okay, so
you're most welcome for answering your questions. Sorry, go ahead, Paula.
oh, no problem. Okay, so if you see right here, it shows you that, like, this is one of my PMs that's in Texas. So the Airbnb is collecting some of the taxes, but not all. But this shows you right here exactly which taxes are being collected by channel and which are being collected by the property manager, so that you will know as a PM exactly what you need to remit and what Airbnb is remitting for you.
Awesome. That's a super handy feature.
Yes, and it's great. And like I said, you get one of these, the breakdown, no matter what channel it is, you'll get these congratulations for every single PM.
Wonderful. That's so awesome. Well, it looks like we've answered all the questions for today. I would just encourage you guys, if you have more questions about VRM and BookingPal and you'd like more information, you can always send an email into help@vrmgr.com, and we'll be so happy to get you in touch with Paula or one of the other awesome team members over at BookingPal to get you all set up and everything. And I just want to say thank you so much, Paula, for being on the webinar today. It was such a great webinar. You did an amazing job, and I'm just so glad that we were able to do this together. And just to remind everybody, this is actually going to be on our blog, so you can rewatch this if you need to at any point, if you want to get some more information out of it. And Paula has generously shared her slide deck, so I'm going to put those slides on the blog as well, so you can download those and look at them yourself later on if you want to. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, so much for being here today. Really appreciate you guys showing up for the webinars. If there's any topics that you'd like me to make sure get on my calendar, just send me an email, Brittany@virtualresortmanager.com. Or you can also engage with us on social media. We've been really trying really hard with our Virtual Resort Manager social media the last few weeks. So go on to our Facebook page and like us and comment and interact. Every single week, I'm putting up quote images that you can actually share from your page, from our Virtual Resort Manager page. So we take a post off of your hands for you on social media. So make sure that you guys are engaging with us there, because we'd love to talk to you on social media, and I manage all of that. So you can give me a shout out if you want to. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for being on the webinar today. It was amazing having all of you. I really appreciate it. And we will see you next month for the next episode of Tea with Brittany Lee. Thanks again. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.